Facts don't care about your faith, nor, as Ben Shapiro likes to note, do they care about your feelings. Nor do facts care about consensus. Indeed, facts don't care about anything. But if you care about facts, you will embrace the principle of rationality. You will accept the fact that A, reason, the faculty that works by means of perceptual observation, conceptual integration, and logic, is your only means of knowledge. It's how you figure out what is true and what is good for your life. B, you'll accept that feelings don't tell you what's true or good, but only that you're experiencing an emotional reaction of some sort. Feelings and emotions are crucially important to your life and happiness, but they're not your means of knowledge. Reason is. C, you'll accept that consensus is not a means of knowledge, but merely a general agreement about an idea which may or may not be true. Consensus often has been and often is wrong. It used to be the consensus that slavery should be legal, and that homosexuality is immoral, and that women are intellectually inferior to men. Consensus is not how we know what's true. D, you'll accept that faith is not a means of knowledge. It's a pretense that one can know by just believing. Now, people often use the term faith loosely to mean trust, as in, I have faith that the brakes in my car will work, or I have faith that my friend's being honest with me. But this is a very different kind of thing from claiming that faith is a means of knowledge. We trust that the brakes in our car will work because we have evidence that they have worked in the past, and we have evidence-based knowledge of how brakes work and why brakes work. Likewise, when we trust a friend to be honest, we're trusting him rationally because we have experiential evidence-based knowledge of his past actions and moral character. Now, if we trust him irrationally because we just feel that he's being honest or don't care to assess the evidence, or because others say he's honest and that's good enough for me, then we are trusting him on faith, and that's a big mistake. On the personal level, accepting reason as our only means of knowledge and acting accordingly is the fundamental means to a lifetime of happiness. On the social level, it's the means to a future of widespread freedom and flourishing. When a sufficient number of influential people stop treating faith, feelings, or consensus as a means of knowledge, and instead fully embrace the fact that reason is man's only means of knowledge, including knowledge of good and evil by the standard of the requirements of human life, which is the only legitimate standard for good and bad, right and wrong, when that happens, the human race will become fully human. Individuals and societies will live in harmony and freedom. People worldwide will flourish like never before. Of course, this won't and can't happen overnight. The ascent of man is a gradual process. But the degrees are real and they matter. Every step forward means that at least someone somewhere is thinking better and living better. We can see this by looking at the relatively few individuals and societies that have come to understand and embrace the principle of rationality, at least substantially, if not fully. Consider John Locke, Benjamin Franklin, Annie Sullivan, Marva Collins, Ayn Rand, Steve Jobs, and the other great producers and thinkers in history. They recognized that reason is our means of knowledge, at least substantially they did, and they did amazing things and lived wonderful lives because of it. Those are just a few famous examples, but countless other people have lived wonderful lives because they've used their minds. They've gone by reason. They've refused to pretend that faith or feelings or consensus are a means of knowing. Likewise for nations and freedom. The United States, Israel, Norway, Canada, and the other relatively free countries around the world are infinitely better places for people to live than are the tyrannical hellholes such as North Korea, Iran, and the like. Why? Because the freer countries are freer precisely because their citizens largely recognize and accept that reason is our means of knowledge, and that freedom is a necessary condition for people to use reason, for people to think and act rationally. So there's no reason for cynicism or even skepticism about whether people and even whole societies can embrace reason and reject the notion that faith, feelings, or consensus are means of knowledge. People can. You and I can, and we can encourage and inspire others to do so too. If we do, then in time, we can bring whole societies around. Start with yourself. Learn more about the nature and importance of reason. You can do so at the Objective Standard Institute, objectivestandard.org.